There we go. There we go. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. On this spring forward, first day after spring forward. It is so bright out. I thought about moving maybe my Mondays with Miko back to 7 o'clock because I feel like I should be outside. And actually, I started to do it from outside, but my husband's like, nah, it's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of cars driving by and everything outside. But I digress. Welcome to Mondays with Miko. And this is a platform where I want us to engage, right? So feel free to drop any comments in the chat. I will do my best to answer those comments. I will say that kind of after the meeting, I don't go back and check the notes, right? So if you join me online and you ask a question, I will answer your question. But if you jump on after, usually I don't answer the question. Okay, so I hope everybody is having one is over kind of losing that hour because that takes a minute. I know I went to sleep a little bit early and my clock is totally messed up. But anyway, I digress, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to jump in with what is confusing a lot of folks, and then we're gonna just go through Mondays with Miko. It may be a little bit longer today. So, I hope, hello, Reagan. I hope you guys can stay with me. I do have a lot of content and I have some information. Hello, Pastor. Good to see you virtually. I have some information that I do want to talk about, right? So, and again, like and share, right? So if you get this, please like and share it. So, let me just, is there an elephant in the room? I guess there's an elephant kind of like in every room, that I go in now. And I want to make it clear to everybody in terms of this investigation, right? So I'm being investigated by the very people whose actions I had the courage to expose. At the same time, members, so they investigate me, and at the same time, members of city council are attempting to politically lynch me in an effort to silence the truth and overturn the will of the voters. This is not just an attack on me, Miko Pickett, but it's an attack on the voice and vote of the people of Mullins who elected me to stand up and lead. And that is what I have done. So, people say, are you? Yes, I am absolutely still the mayor. So what does this mean? So my understanding, again, this is not something that is often done. And I do see some issues with how it was handled, and that's to be addressed separately. But I am the elected mayor. And so what this means is that my ceremonial duties have been temporarily, whatever temporarily means, have been temporarily given to Mayor Pro Tem. And it's my understanding, this has only happened one other time, and I don't know about that. I can't say that for sure, but it was also to a woman. So I want to be clear to everyone. I have done absolutely nothing wrong. The only thing that I have done is speak up for the citizens. And that I will do day in and day out, time and time again. That is not going to change. That's just who I am. When you elected me, you knew that you were electing an activist. I am not going to sit back and roll over and let bad things happen to the people of Mullins. Not going to do it. Not going to do it without transparency. As you know, my door has been open, right? So people come in, I advocate. I'm in office every day, 9 to 5, if I don't have a meeting or something else going on. But I'm there. That's how I operate. That's what I promised you I would do. I promised you would have a full-time mayor, and that's exactly what you got. So when I say, y'all, when I say, they are lynching me politically, they are attacking me on every angle you could possibly think of. But to God be the glory, haven't been able to find anything to stick yet. You guys have seen what they've done to me since the day I said I was running for office. And it's not the first time that I've had to deal in my life, that I've had to deal with injustices because I'm a woman. It's not the first time that I have to deal with injustices because I'm a person of color. Unfortunately, I'm used to it. But that don't make it right. So I'm going to start with what I usually do on the Mondays with Miko before a city council meeting, and I'm going to review the agenda, okay? And then I'm going to go into some other things. So exciting. City council will be recognizing the Mullins Auctioneers high school team. They're the 2A regional champs. Yay! Listen, I went to the game not in Columbia, in Florence, and our boys, they did great. They did. So I can't wait for the next season to see them go even further. So congratulations on being the 2A regional champs. And so they're going to be recognized on tomorrow. Then we have the consent agenda, approval of minutes, things like that. Then we have old business. So old business this is the final reading to move the city council meetings from 6 o'clock to 5:30. So that will happen. And then there's a discussion, I guess, because it doesn't say first reading. I brought this up. I actually wrote this ordinance, and then city council decided to give it to the attorney to look over and to get other feedback. And it's ordinance adopting rules and governance for miscellaneous committees. So if you remember, city council voted to strip me of the ability to create committees, something that had been done. We couldn't, it was over 75 years that mayors had that right. But this city council, again, politically lynching me because we were doing the right thing for the citizens. They decided that they didn't want me to have that power anymore, and they took it. So, okay, I through this whole thing, y'all, I have been taking to Michelle Obama, and I really have. So I was like, okay, y'all did this, so how are we going to govern it? So I wrote this ordinance about how we could potentially govern it, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. Then on new business, City of Mullins Town Hall Council, FOG. I don't know what that means. I don't know what FOG means. FOG 101. But what it is that there's going to be a meeting on the 23rd of March that Charlie Barano, who's with the Municipal Association, is going to be teaching, presenting, and that is about the types of government. And I want you to learn. I want you to learn about the types of government, because before the end of this live, I am going to begin to lay out my case for why we need to change our type of government, right? So city council took powers that the mayor had for 75 years. They took that away, and that was creating committees, and you see what we were doing with committees. Now they took away my ability to do ceremonials, so ribbon cuttings, like going to the Jesse Jackson funeral and presenting a proclamation, signing proclamations. Since I've been mayor, I have provided proclamations. So they took my ability to do that away, and they can. The law is the law. The majority can do what they want to do. Hey, sis, I see you, Angel. Hey, Miss Diane. Thank you. Reagan says, working a part-time job, like a full-time job, and that's what they give you. You're right. But you know what, though? We all good. We all good. So, where am I at? New business. All right. First reading of ordinance. An ordinance to adopt the provisions of the resolution 2026-03 as an ordinance in the city of Mullins, South Carolina. So, if I understand this correctly, and I'm not going to talk about it in detail because we'll talk about it at the city council meeting, you got to come. right? So since when even before I was elected, I talked about using your V's, right? Be visible in your community, use your voice and vote. That I've been saying that since 2019. And I've asked the citizens of Mullins to please come to the city council meetings, and you have. And that's much appreciated. But I'm telling you, tomorrow's city council meeting, you need to come like you never came before. If you usually come, definitely come. If you sometimes come, sometimes don't come, I need you to come. If you can't come, you need to bring somebody else. Right? Everybody can't speak, but we for sure can be there in the building. All right? So definitely need you to come. Thank you so much. I'm seeing all your comments. I'm gonna go ahead and get through it, and I'm gonna go back through it. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. Use your V's. Be visible. Use your voice and vote, most importantly. So anyway, so this is an ordinance. If you go to the city website, you can see all of these documents. And the ordinance basically says that they are they're going to take the resolution and make it an ordinance. Again, a political lynching. That's exactly what it is. Whistleblowers, you blow the whistle, and in this case, yeah, I'm a whistleblower, and the same people who I'm saying you did something wrong, you're going to come for me. You're going to come for me because I'm representing the citizens of Mullins. And on that note, looks like they're going to create an ordinance. I don't have nothing to do with this one. Just see. First reading of ordinance 2026-005. An ordinance to clarify and correct provisions of sections 2.0.100. The Code of Ordinances of the City of Mullins, South Carolina. And what ordinance do you think that is? What ordinance do y'all think that is that they're going to talk about tomorrow? What ordinance? It's to do with our voting. Stay alert, people. I need you there. It's about our voting. It's about our elections. So rewound. Whistleblower, I wrote letters to complain about what's happening with certain people trying to change our elections from November of even years when everybody votes to April of odd years when people don't really pay attention. So yeah, I wrote letters because you said you could do it. Well, why you got to create an ordinance? But we'll find out tomorrow. Fair housing resolution, that's just stuff we do every year. And then the Mullins Housing Authority Board nominee. And I do have something to say on that. And it's not about the person we're nominating. It's about the Housing Authority. And I'm going to say it tomorrow. So please listen. And then after the city council meeting, maybe that next day, I will explain my position, why we have to get involved in all these levels of government, right? If you live in a housing authority, you need somebody who lives in a housing authority to be involved in the decision maker. It's your right. And I'm going to talk about that when it comes up tomorrow. All right. And then we have an executive session. And then there's comments. So 4 people that are signed up to make comments are Councilmember Terry Davis, Lisa Thompson, Ed Levon, and Cynthia Ford. All righty. So what I wanted to do today is, again, and I thank you so much for your comments. Listen, it is by grace and prayer. And I mean, talking about a prayer life, my prayer life has changed tenfold since I decided to run. Since I've decided to run. This has been a battle. And through it all, I've always tried to continue to find ways to work, offering the olive branch, doing this, doing that. You guys see, I don't have to tell you what City Council has been doing to me since the beginning. I don't have to tell you, you see it. And it's not about me, it's about you, right? It's these things that we need to do to move our city forward. Why do you not want it? And let me ask this question. Why would anybody representing a community, women-led, African-American, 77%, want to change our elections from November? Ask yourself that question. And then I'm going to answer it a little bit later. All right. And one thing I'm going to say is I have been attacked. My businesses have been attacked. I've been attacked personally. My family has been attacked. And they criticize me for things that are lies, things that aren't true, things that I have nothing to do with. But that doesn't discourage me at all. All it does, it reminds me that true leadership matters. And that is why I'm saying to the citizens of Mullins, you guys have a say in this. We can take it to that next level. I am asking you to sign a petition and let's change our form of government from weak mayor, as Mr. Kitchen clearly said, he's right, to strong mayor, strong people. So, what I want to do at this point is I'm going to go through, I put out a Facebook post on my accomplishments since being mayor, these 16 months. So I want to, I'm going to go through that. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to try to pay attention. Thank you so much, Wanda. Thank you so much. Yep. I am keeping God first. I'm keeping God first. And I wish my husband was here so he can get me some water. I'm keeping God first, always. I mean, no matter where I go, I went to get my hair done, and Myra, it just turns into a praise session. I have excellent Christian counsel. My pastor, other pastors have been reaching out to me. We've been having one-on-one discussions because it's not about Miko Pickett. It's not. I know it. It's never been about Miko Pickett. I think the hatred for me is about me. I'll admit to that. I'll admit to that. These people don't like me, but they didn't elect me. All right. So let me just start with what we've done, right? So from the very beginning, I have said that our city needs to bring in more revenue. And I mean that. And there's ways that we can identify more revenue, right? People say that we're broke. None of that's true. None of that's true. None of that's true. And I don't know why certain members of city council continue to say that narrative. Let me explain. We have a $5.6 million budget. We have $5.6 million in expenses. That means that we have a zero net budget. By law, every city has to have that. So what we had to do is we had to create, so we got $5.6 million coming in, $5.6 million come out. We have to make sure we manage to that budget, and we need to find more revenue, which is what I've been trying to do every single day. So we took out what's called a tax anticipation note. So what that means is that we get $5.6 million that comes in, but sometimes the bills are more than the revenue. So we took out a note, a loan of our own money. So we took out a tax anticipation note, give us our money in advance, $750,000, and then we'll pay back our own money. We have to manage the budget. We have to, when your family, if you bring in $2,000 a month, $3,000 cash a month, $4,000 cash a month, whatever the number is, that's what you got to spend. But we could do more about it. So what I set out to do was to find ways to get more revenue. First thing is I talked to the departments to say, where's that low-hanging fruit? Fire department told me some things. Public Works told me some things. I jumped right on the Public Works, which was already part of my campaign platform. I said the very first thing I was going to do when I got elected, that I was going to go down and I was going to meet with Grand Strand. That's a very big part of our relationship, because as I started touring other cities, what I found out is a lot of cities, they make their revenue by selling utilities, water. Well, we sold our water. So I needed to understand what's the capacity of our system, and also what this, how long is this deal? is it good for the city of Mullins or not? So I went down there, and I went down there with an axe in hand. And that's where I was able to come back home. Before I drove down to Conway, I met with them. By the time I got back home, the $130,000 in annual revenue was already in the process. Another thing was early on, matter of fact, I think I was 2 weeks in. I found myself at at a meeting of mayors. It was interesting, I will say that. And one of the things first thing I did was I asked, where's our plan? Where's our plan? Right? My background is in business. Over 30 years in corporate America, 10 years building a nonprofit organization from scratch. You can't do none of that without a plan. Come to find out, the city did not have a plan. So I found myself in the same room with the Secretary of Commerce. And I asked the question. If you don't ask, you don't get an answer. So I asked the question, and long story short, the city was blessed. We received $41,000 to create a strategic plan. We were the only city that was not a county seat to get this privilege. So let me explain that. We have 46 counties in the state of South Carolina. Marion is named after the county. We're in Marion County, so that's the county seat, right? So Marion, this grant that we received was intended for them. They got it. They did. And we didn't take anything from Marion. Love Marion. Marion received the grant, and they're also going to get an extra $250,000 in grant money, right? So the Commerce Department, because they had promised me in that meeting that it was available, they came through. And so the city of Mullins, we got our $41,000 strategic plan. I included everybody, and they finished the plan. City council has yet to adopt it. Without adopting it, it really makes us look bad, A. And B, access to funding that could be available to us is now being slowly but surely wiped away. So also in that same first month, I had worked with an outside agency, I'll call it. And what they were talking about doing was there was a grant that had to be applied for by February, and it would have built workforce development apartments. So people say it's not low-income housing. These are workforce apartments. These would be apartments for working people, for people that, worked at 9 to 5, worked down at the beach, firemen, police, teachers. And the rent would have only, brand new, built from the ground. They promised to put 30% of the development money, of the construction money, to use local subs. So that would mean our Mullins Hardware, our Gapway Hardware would get access to selling building supplies, landscaping, cleaners, construction workers, roof workers, right? So when you're negotiating for your city, you sit down at the table and you say, hey, look, let's do this. And the city didn't have to pay $0. City council would not even hear it. They wouldn't even let me bring it to the table. They had copies of everything. Didn't want to hear it. And if you've been watching the city council meeting, that's what happens. I'll bring something up and it's crickets. Well, I'm still in the first, let me see, I started in November. I'm still in about January, right? So 2 months later, I go to a meeting because we had received a grant to do a retention pond, which is something that we really need, right? The retention pond is going to alleviate flooding for about 30% of Mullins. The housing authority, all throughout Mullins Street, Dixon Street, over that way, right? So I get to the meeting, and the first thing that the grantors said was, Mayor Pickett, one, you need the title to the land where we're going to put the retention pond. I didn't know about that. I've been on the job for 2 months. And you need another $1.5 million. So your mayor went to work. She went to work. She found a way to negotiate with the people that had the land. and we got it back. She found a way to get the additional money that we needed, and we got it back. We got the money. So we got the money, we got the land. And a retention pond doesn't have to be like, just like a big old thing of water. It could be walking area, it could be a nice community area, right? But we need it. We need it. We got to stop the flooding, because the flooding is destroying homes. It's destroying communities. And it's not fair for people who live in housing authority to have flooding, backup sewage, all kind of stuff every time it rains bad. Not cool. So the more and more I listen to you, I realized that we needed to really focus on housing revitalization. We had the grant for $560,000. Thank you so much to Robert Woodbury and Ogarita and Terry Davis's life work. So just needed to continue to remain focused on making sure that that project was finished before the time expired. And the time expired, we only had 2 years to do that work, and we're doing good. We're in the second year now, and in the next 3 months-ish, you're going to start seeing houses come down. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create a wraparound project, because for me, it's how I did it in business. If you have something big you got to deal with, you put it into a project plan. And I called this project Project Phoenix, and it was 3 things. 1, demolition of unsafe structures. We have 27 coming down in one block, District 3, and our code official has identified over about 200 that need to come down. 200. We only have 1,600 homes in the city. 200 are totally abandoned. Not where people, it needs to come down. There's more that need a lot of help, and maybe people ain't living in. So if you talk about needing to bring revenue to the city, well, there you go, right? I was at an economic development conference, and they talked about rooftops bring retail. Retail brings growth. So, all right, let's focus on demolishing these unsafe structures, right? The second thing was condemnation of abandoned buildings. A lot of people have been getting over on us, Mullins. They own homes or businesses in the city limit of Mullins, and they live in other states, but they're happy to just go and write a little penny ante check every year and keep this on for us to matter, for us to deal with. Our kids have to walk by these abandoned buildings. Our families have to look at these commercial properties that need to be addressed. That's not fair. So start to look into condemning of abandoned buildings, and there's more to come on that. We had a workshop on this just about a month ago. And then last but not least, I was at a conference maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, and I was sitting next to a guy in Aiken, and they was telling me about how they're using the South Carolina Housing Trust to rebuild homes in the city. And so the Housing Trust is something that nonprofits solely would be able to do. But there's so much money in this trust that they're opening up to cities now, where cities can repair homes up to $75,000 per home. And there's no limit. And the city, we would get a percentage of that $75,000 to kind of oversee the program, which could fund the department to do it. All right, revitalizing neighborhoods. Now, I'm still doing the research on that. So I will say that's the one thing. I have presented City Council a copy of Project Phoenix, but I haven't gone into detailed specific grant requests. And you know why? Because City Council stripped my ability to write grants. Fired the grant writer and said, Mayor, you can't write grants anymore. Mayor, you can't create committees anymore. Why is that? Because we were having success. A public lynching. So I move on. When I was running for office, and I am just so excited, I have been excited about the Obrick Square Marketplace, what we can do, the funding, We've got grantors on the line to help us build we have one grant already approved for $200,000 so that we can build an amphitheater across from the library. We have a splash pad that's ready to go. We just got to put some of the final details on it. And one of the things we needed to have a fence. We needed to have a fence so that we can open up the splash pad. How cool would it be if we can open up the splash pad this week in Sadie? So I got that. I got $15,000. Cash is in the bank right now so that we can do what we need to do to open up the splash pad. It's being slow walked. How did they do that? They moved the OBS park. City Council voted to move the OBS park from Public Works to Parks and Rec. Now me, okay. Because as long as the citizens have this situation where you have people who you've elected into office that are doing everything in their power to work against the citizens, all I could do is put it on the table. And that's what I've been doing. So why certain people have an issue with Old Brick Square Marketplace, I don't know. But the money's there in the bank. I wish we could put some pressure on folks to let's get OBS, let's get the splash pad open. And I also recognize that we needed consolidated reporting of what's going on in the park. So I created a quarterly status report of OBS. And I did give it to all of City Council. And I update that once a quarter because for those of you who don't know, y'all think grant money is free money. It's not. With grant, when you get money from grants, you have to be held accountable for all that money. I'm 33 minutes in and I'm not even done. I got other stuff I need to talk about. Let me move a little bit quicker. I have, your mayor was selected to be part of the very first cohort program from the Hunt Institute on Policy Fellowship. So I was selected and attended offsite meetings to discuss literacy. I learned about literacy from pregnancy to old age, from the very best, brightest, and smartest people in our state and in our nation. And with that, I came back and I created a literacy council, pulling together the very brightest people in Mullins in literacy and education. And we became a think tank and put our heads together to do some things. City Council doesn't want that to happen. We didn't have a planning or zoning board. That was defunct. Put that back together. Support arts. Creative programs through the Mullins Art Council. We had our very first drawing contest, My Dream City of Mullins. And the students participated. And we had a ceremony. And the parents and the family members told us they were so happy because not all children are into sports. And so their children that love to draw, they felt like they had an outlet. And we offered them little prizes. The Mullins Ministerial Alliance. That was created right after we lost Ronnie, right in front of my house. He was killed in the street. So I never saw a person that was unalived before. My family was here. We was having a birthday party for my grandchild. My daughter-in-law, she was outside when the shooting happened. So I said, dear God, this job is 24/7 and we need prayer. So I engaged the Mullins Ministerial Alliance and we meet every other month, cover the city in prayer, let them know what's going on. They had, and the ministers had an event, Stop the Violence Sunday. Yes Committee. We had HTC to sponsor the Santa Pajama Jam. We did the Snowflake Jubilee. These are happy things. So while not every initiative that I put up received the support we needed to move forward, we can do it. I still have it. I still have the work. The citizens, we got to do the right thing. We have to, one, elect people who are going to do right by the citizens of Mullins. And two, I'm asking you to change our form of government. Why am I doing that? So there is going to be a meeting on March 23rd where a third party is going to come to the city and he's going to tell you guys the difference between, I'm going to say, strong mayor and weak mayor. Let's just take those two. Currently we have weak mayor, right? So when I'll give you an example. When you guys need, you call me because I'm in the office. I answer my phone and return all my phone calls. And you say, Miko, my trash hasn't been picked up. Well, I can't direct the staff to pick up the trash. I can call them and ask them, hey, I got a phone call from, from constituent A, and their trash hasn't been picked up yet. Please pick it up. Hey, I noticed that the process that we use to pick up trash is not consistent with how other cities do it. And by the way, here's a presentation where I have reviewed what the other cities do, and this is my suggestion. I could do that. Can you consider it? That's weak mayor. Strong mayor is if you call me and you say your trash has not been picked up, then I can pick up the phone. Constituent A, trash has not been picked up. We need to get that picked up before the end of the day. B, we're going to implement a new policy and procedure to make sure that we are streamlining how trash is picked up all across this city. Same thing with the police department. Same thing with the fire department. I can, as weak mayor, I can ask, advocate. As strong mayor, I can execute, change things, and you will have a voice. You will have a consolidated voice. Let me put it that way. Because I'm the one that's elected at large, meaning I have to run in every district in this city. So it doesn't matter if District 1 has a need that District 4 doesn't have. I'm elected by all 7 districts. All 6 districts. So with the strong mayor system, then some of those powers that have been taken away with me would come back, A. But also, even before they did that, this was something that I had been looking at, right? So I've been here for, thank you so much, Avery. I've been here, for 16 months now. And I see that the city of Mullins is a great city with resilient people. I'm telling you, I am talking to folks that want to move their businesses here. We was once, people talked to me about how Main Street was so busy and people was walking up and down Main Street and there were jobs here. People used to come from Conway here. We could do this. We can do this, but I need your support. I need your support now more than ever before. And I stand strong on my commitment to the city of Mullins. And I'm going to go through the comments. And then I'm going to tell you this. That over the next days and weeks, I am going to be making my case for strong mayor and how things will look different, right? I'm not asking you to change my role for personal reasons. I'm asking you to do it because the city needs leadership. We need policies. We need procedures. We need somebody that's going to step in and do the right thing when the right thing needs to be done. That has ownership. And I'm saying I'm going to do it. You have one throat to choke. So let me go through the comments. Oh, let's go back to the selection real quick, right? So why is it that Jesse Jackson is barely buried? And look at what we're having to deal with. Martin Luther King died for voter rights. John Lewis got beat nearly to death for voters' rights. Jesse Jackson never stopped fighting for voters' rights. So, y'all don't think I'm going to write letters? Contact some people? I'm going to do it. So why? Why should we keep our elections in November? We should keep them in November because that's when we all vote. If we move them to April, we will have significant turnout decline. That means any old nefarious party could come in and could take over our city. They could put people in city council and to do whatever they want to do. Sound familiar? Our city is 77% African American. Moving it will definitely reduce minority influence. It took 150 years to get Robert Woodbury. It took 154 years to get Miko Pickett. Can't go back. I'm just saying. And if the law says that we have to go back, right, because the majority of council has to vote, they vote all together, they change it, guess what? There's certain things legally they shouldn't be able to do. And I'm going to highlight that. They should not be able to. We have been elected for 4 years. So if you want to change our not former government, because I want to change our former government. If you want to change the date that we run for office, do it in 2030. Pass the law now. Make it effective in 2030. So that way, the people who are running, the citizens have voted on that. We know that they're going to be running for 4 years and 5 months. We know that we're going to be paying them benefits for 4 years and 5 months. We know that we're going to be paying them a salary for 4 years and 5 months. But we shouldn't be voting to extend our own terms in office. Ethics has already ruled on that. The Attorney General has already ruled on that. All right, I'm going through comments. They don't like change. You know, Josephine, I don't know if you're still there with me. Change is very difficult. Change is very difficult. And, you know, I wonder if I wasn't such an outspoken woman, if it would be like this. But I'm going to keep advocating. Trust. Keep going. I see my sis there. People tell me they're watching. My friend from New York. Please stand behind. Yeah. Thank you so much, David. He's saying let's stand together, right? Let's stand together. We can do this. And so I really need for you guys to come to the city council meeting tomorrow. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. I done read to you the agenda. They messing with our elections. It's in black and white. And when I say they, somebody's behind this. It ain't your mayor because they ain't telling me. I find out when I show up. Terry Davis finds out when we show up. We need you to come tomorrow, March 10th, City Council meeting. Please be there. It's a lot of courage, a lot of encouragement in the comments. You know, somebody says they don't want us to know. Yes, prayers, no weapons shall prosper. Oh, thank you so much, Wendell. Thank you for all you do to support people of gunshot victims. Thank you so much. Avery says, I am a strong mayor. Thank you so much. Let's put that in writing. You know, let's put that in. A pastor says he truly loves Mullins. He have loved it from the moment he first set eyes on this. It's a diamond in the rough. It absolutely is. And it will be a diamond again. I'm trying to tell you, we will bring jobs to our community. Those jobs will be living wage jobs. When we work together, we will bring housing to our communities. We will clean up these things can happen. I'm not telling you this like I'm just making it up. It can happen. And I went through you my accomplishments. So for the past 16 months, despite what was against me, I was working on it. Working on it. Yes, Elder, let's go. Let's go, Elder Spencer, please. I really need you guys to come to City Council tomorrow. People from out of town are commenting. You know, they're from Mullins, but they don't live here. So how long will this last? They need to be replaced, period. I'm still here. Thank you so much, Josephine, for staying on the live. I know it's been a long one. Okay, let me see, Mr. Rudy. Oh, wow, look at this. Mr. Rudy is with the Marion County Democratic Party, so he actually has stats. If we move from April turnout, will look like it does for school board elections, fewer than 5% of the electorate. Now I'm going to give you an example. Let me try to be careful with this example. There's a place in city in Philadelphia, and they were able, because of an off section election, they were able to change an entire city. And that is not anything that we want to happen. Thank you so much, Lee. I appreciate your kind words. No, and I am saying that, thank you so much, Jerome, that it's a public lynching of your mayor, right? Because I exposed what I believed was injustice, and I still believe it's injustice because I exposed it, because I said hands off our elections, right? So yeah, but here's the thing. I am a person of color, but not everybody. Okay, I'm trying to be PC, y'all. I'm a woman. I am somebody that's not afraid to speak my mind, and I am a person of color. And it just so happens that we have a city that's 77% African American, and it's been 154 years in the corporation, and we've only had 2 people of color, the one before me and me. So somebody wants to influence our election, y'all. And I'm telling you, it didn't just start in January. It didn't. It didn't. And but they can't do it without you, right? Without you. The citizens of Mullins, you guys have the final say, right? Yes, they have the vote, but they're supposed to be voting based on your best interest, your city council people. Ask them, why do you want to move our elections from November to April? What does it benefit the citizens of Mullins? Why? Ask them. Why can't we have our splash pad open? Why can't we have workforce housing? Why don't you want to work with the mayor? Why are you unjustly persecuting her? Yeah, it'll probably be personal. Why? Because they're hurting the citizens. Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you so much. Let's get this. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Please show up tomorrow. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Tell your friends. Share this video. And know, at the end of the day, I got the best interest of Mullins at heart, no matter what anybody tells you. And when they start talking, tell them to call me. I'm like the most transparent person because I'm not a politician. I'm a business person that became a nonprofit leader that ran for government. That's why. So somehow or another, somebody like me done snuck in and became mayor. And now we've got transparency. Transparency. And what happens when you're transparent? They want to investigate you. And who do they want to? Do they get somebody non-partisan? Because, like I said, let's investigate. There's some stuff y'all need to see. Did they get somebody from outside? No. The same person who I am complaining about is the one that they got to investigate me. Y'all didn't ask somebody that question? Y'all didn't ask somebody that question when they say Mayor Pickett's under investigation? I ain't do nothing wrong, y'all. That's crazy. It's crazy for me to even say that. But if I have to be, and then I promise you, y'all, I'm going to stop talking. If in order to stand up for our voting rights, in order to stand up for transparency, in order to stand up for the city of Mullins, if I have to be under investigation, then I'll be that. I'm going to leave it there. Have a good day. Please, I need to see you tomorrow. City Council meeting.